Dwayne, if you wouldn't mind coming back, we can do about 5 minutes of Q&A on this. Lots of hands again. Yes, sir.
Dwayne, there is a well-defined process for the plans for normal air quality from the cities and the counties going into the state implementation plan. Words have certain meanings. Everyone adopts those meanings. Why is this different than what we're seeing here on the climate action plans?
Well, my first thought is the air quality approach has been underway for more years. And if you looked at the first part, it could have been, maybe I'm wrong, somewhat rough.
It was shakier.
Shakier. And as time went on, it gets better. I think that's probably what happened here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First, thanks, Dwayne, for your talk. I know reviewing all those climate action plans is not my question is, early in your discussion, one of your slides, you mentioned that all 4 of the cities with CAP have met their targets. But how can you say that? Because it's not 2020 yet, and I don't think there's been a reassessment of the emissions.
Right. The cities have met their targets in the sense that they have said they're going to do something. And someone has computed, if they do what they say, how much would the emissions be reduced? So that's based on an algorithm that most of these are algorithms run by Epic. Epic tells us that the algorithms are changing. They are learning better as they go what they ought to be including, what not. So it's hard for them to figure out how to compare this when it's a changing methodology. And so really the point is you'd really like to be able to measure something. Go out and have a sample. There's actually, NASA now has a satellite that is starting to make measurements worldwide of CO2 emissions so that they will be able to have emissions, let's say a year from now. We'll probably have things that we will look, and a little bit of it will be starting to measure, but we're also hearing, I heard some of the early data showed that there were very high emissions over the Four Corners area, 4 states of methane, happens to be methane. But the point is that doesn't mean that it was emitted there. Air patterns and things like that, it could be primarily in, I would guess, where they're doing the fracking in Colorado, and because of air patterns, it ends up there. So the science to gather this is going to be evolving as we carry these things out. Yeah.
Dwayne, for the cities that have plans that have been in place like San Marcos for 2 years, where do they stand on actual achievements to date? Has that been measured yet?
I can only talk from Encinitas because I've looked into it. Encinitas had not looked at their plan for, until 2012, more than a year. And maybe it was 2013. So I think what they did is we better have an update. So they haven't actually changed any of their activities or put in place any actual funded activities. But they do say that they would monitor things, but they didn't give themselves a time schedule, so it was all so loose. And I can't tell you about it.
Diane, you want to speak to
Yeah,
that?
San Marcos actually, they're like a year and a half practically into their adopted plan. They have not yet done what's supposed to be their annual monitoring, and that's kind of a common problem. The same thing in Vista. They're starting, what they told me is they're collecting the data so that they'll have updated information, and they expect to have something, by late summer. But that's something for us all to pay attention to. What is that monitoring that's on paper, and what are they actually doing? They said they were going to be doing annual monitoring. Where's the report?
We have time for one more question.
Jay.
Marin and Sonoma County seem to be doing a lot of statistical measurements and whatnot. Are we kind of in tune with what they're doing with regard to measurements we're making? Are they way ahead of us? Are we on a comparative?
I'm guessing you have more information on that than any of us.
Well, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for your great questions.